Welcome to Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.L.Ruscsak. I'm here with special guest, Jerry Linsom. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And this is a very rare occasion that is a one-on-one, as you can see. And we're going to be talking about Broken Bones that he wrote today.
Yeah.
Now, what led you into this?
Well, what led me into it is to really get to let people know my story of how broken bones but not a broken soul, how I've been through a lot of car accidents, my life as a child, going through different things, through suicidal attempts. So it's really talking about where I've come from and to really help someone to see that they're not alone in whatever situation that they're in.
Right, because it's not just pre 2003, I was very suicidal myself. Before I left high school, I had tried to commit suicide twice myself. I mean, I was in the 6th grade the first time.
Wow.
So this is something that really touches home with me with the suicide part. Then you go into the depression, but you can overcome anything.
Yes, definitely.
You do not want a permanent solution for a temporary problem when the permanent solution is not the answer, when the solution is death.
Yes, definitely. The main thing, the first attempt, I wouldn't even say really was an attempt. I was thinking about it, and I was in, and this part is in the book. I was in one of my aunt's house. Everybody was in the house partying, doing their thing, and I was outside, and I just was so fed up with life that I said that I wanted to do it. And I'm outside, and the dogs are in the backyard, and I hear a voice says, I have need of you. And I'm like, I know dogs, I know a donkey can talk because we know about that in the Bible, but never heard of a dog can talk. So I knew that there was source, God, universe telling me there's need of me. So that attempt of wanting to do it stopped me because of, I didn't know what the need was at the time, but there was a need, so I knew that I had to live.
We all go through this.
Yes, ma'am.
There's not a person out there that hasn't contemplated it once. Why? Because we have no money, we have no home, we have no food, we have no love in the family, we have, say whatever the no is, and you've been through it and you just want to end yourself. At the same time, that is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Anything out there you can overcome. We can overcome broken bones. We can overcome broken hearts. We can overcome poverty. We can overcome anything that we set our mind to, but we have to be here to do it.
Yes. And that's the thing that's very important, Melissa, because I was told I won't be nothing. I was told, everybody basically probably have this type of story that, you're not going to be nothing. You're not going to be a nobody and all this. And I've been wanting to write a book because of all the accidents. 6 years old, having my head ran over by a car.
Oh my God.
12 years old, being thrown out of a car. The age of 21, falling off a house and broken on my left elbow. 35 years old, have a car accident and become paralyzed. So all these things that happen, it's to the point that said there's life. But because I was told I was a nobody, I was told I wouldn't be, I didn't write the book. So when I met with my mentor, which is Antonio Smith, and he poured into me and others poured into me, I said, I have to get this out there that someone can know that they're not alone.
Exactly. How many times do we hear children tell other children, you're not going to be anything?
Mhm.
How many times do we hear it from our own family members
Exactly.
that you're
Exactly.
not going to be anything because your parent was never nothing?
Right.
It is up to us to determine our path in life. If we believe what other people tell us, we will never achieve what we are meant to achieve.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. And you have to change also, Melissa, you have to change your mindset.
Mhm.
You have to change where you have to know where you're going and what you want. But if you're at the point of woe is me, I'm not gonna be nothing, we have to be careful what words we speak.
Mhm.
And even when people speak words of us, we have to be careful in receiving those words. You know?
It is.
Yeah,
We-
very important.
You have to speak to yourself the way you want people to speak to you.
Yes.
If you say, I love me, I am beautiful, I am accomplished, I am whatever the I am is. That's how people will eventually perceive you. Why? Because the negative people that say you are nothing
Mhm.
will go away because they cannot break you.
That's true.
If they can't break you, you're no longer worth their time and they will leave you alone.
Mhm.
And then you find the people around you that will build you up.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And that's where being around Antonio, that it was a subconscious class I took.
Mhm.
The what are they called? Yeah, the subconscious class I took, and it really was trying to basically you have to retrain yourself, retrain your thinking, retrain what was told to you,
Mhm.
and you have to get to the point that you have to know where you're going and what you're gonna do in life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's to the point that when you have someone pour into you like Antonio did, that's why my life have changed.
Mhm.
I'm seeing different things going on in my life that I didn't see before I met him. Even though it could have changed, but because of my mindset was the way it was, I was stuck.
Exactly. And we don't want to be stuck, but changing your mindset, it takes a lot to do that because you have to sometimes cut out the people that have been there for you, that you perceive have been there for you, but in reality have been holding you back.
Yes.
And that's one of the hardest things to do is cut out the friend that you knew since kindergarten, the cousin that you have that was buddy with you and gave you your first drink when you were 16.
Yeah.
Your, whatever the situation is, the hardest thing is actually cutting out these negative people because they're your core. They're the people that you grew up with. They're your family.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
And
Definitely.
that it hurts when you have to go to your sibling and say, I can't take your toxic anymore and I can't help you.
And you know what? It's very important. I like that you said that because we talk about it in the book too, where there's 4 kids, me, my brother, and my 2 sisters. Now, all of us was given away. Me and my brother was given to my great aunt, and my 2 sisters was given to my grandmother. But what I'm getting at is my brother, even though we lived in the same home, he wasn't brothers.
Yeah.
He went to a higher educational school where it was more of higher learning than I did, and he was put on a pedestal more than I was. But that was during the childhood, and after 2009, the woman that raised us, she had died. Then my mother had died in 2010. So it kind of builded a bond to where we didn't have a relationship to we have the best of a relationship now. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very important that, and sometimes you have to let that person know that you hurted me.
Yeah.
Because if you can, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I have a sibling, actually a couple of siblings. And after our dad died, we started getting really close. But then the negativity started again. And it was when I got to the point where they're draining the energy from you because your negativity can't thrive in light.
Mhm.
You have to cut them out. You
Yes.
have to figure out, is it someone like your brother that you can build the bond and start anew? Or is it someone like my sibling that you have a temporary truce and then it's time to part ways?
Mm.
You have to do this for yourself, and it's the hardest thing in the world, especially when the last thing you promise a loved one is to take care of them, that you can do.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But we have this. Are you writing a sequel?
I will be writing another one. It's not going to be about the autobiography of me, but I've been thinking of another one, and it's basically the title was given to me, Broken but Not Done. So that's gonna be the second one. I don't know when I'm gonna start. But
Shame on you.
yes, I know. Shame on me. But we are gonna be working on that because it's been told to me that there's a second book in me.
Oh, there's more than one book in it.
Yeah, yeah. And so and then well, between that, the broken and not done, and basically there's one that I really want to talk about is like really about self-love, of loving yourself, and how that I haven't came up with a title or nothing like that yet, but how that when you love yourself, then you can love others and then you find your mate. And 2015, going through a lot of things, I decided to be celibate and settle down and just learn Jerry. Because I was in a former marriage where it was not pleasing. So because of that former marriage, I was already damaged, but I got more damaged after the marriage. So 2015 to 2018, I had time to find Jerry.
Right. My 2017 to 2020 was finding me.
Wow.
I mean, I understand 100% what you just said.
Yes.
Because it took me 2 years to figure out I can love me just to love me.
Yes.
I don't need another person.
And true. So true.
You can't love another person until you learn to love yourself.
That's it.
No matter what your disability is, no matter what your circumstances is, you cannot love another person until you love yourself.
And so as it is in the book, we talk about it at the end to where I met Renee. I call her my queen. And how we met and how we had struggles in the first year of knowing each other. Of course, it was a long distance relationship. I was in a nursing home. She was living in Georgia, and we met up and we decided that was in December. And then by March, we decided to see each other. We decided we wanted to be a couple. And then I was in a nursing home matter of fact, while we were in a relationship, I was on the phone with her when I got hit by the car. So imagine she's in Georgia And I just told her, I said, hold on, I'm going across the street.
Mhm.
I always tell her when I'm across the street to hold on. I put the phone down. So I'm going across the street, and the car comes from the left, comes this way, and hits me, and I'm driving with this. So that's how come all this is messed up here, is because of sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. All this is messed up because of the wheelchair fell on this arm and broke all of it. Thank you, Dan. Let me put them back on my face. I don't know why I take them off. I talk, and when I talk with my hands. So sometimes,
I have
you
not
know.
met a person that has glasses that doesn't take them off where they're talking.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't ask me why that is. It's just, it is the normal thing.
Right. So after the nursing home deal, before I leave the nursing home, she comes to West Virginia where I'm at, and she moves there. Then the pandemic hits, and after we leave the nursing home, I told her that it was time for me to leave and go to North Carolina. And I know at the time she probably was like, well, I just got here. Now I'm moving again, you know?
Yep.
But this is where we belong at for right now. I don't know what plans we have for next year, or where we're going to be at, Texas, Reno, California, somewhere. You know,
It's not gonna be here.
it's not going to be here, right? So, moving here. So what I'm getting at is about the love. Moving here, and by moving here, I got sick, real badly sick, with UTIs, sepsis, all this stuff, and she took care of me. And I decided, I said, I'm going to marry her.
Mhm.
I'm not going to wait 4 or 5 years, you know. And when we first, like in our first year of the relationship, people was asking her, you know, when y'all gonna get married? She's like, whenever he's ready.
Mhm.
And usually a woman is like ready to get married. I see she's younger too. Not no disrespect of age, don't have nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
But she's younger too, so I know she's ready to have kids. She's ready to get married. So all this. But what really made me put a rush on it was that the love she had for me in the wheelchair. And okay, when we first met, I was walking with the walker,
Mhm.
and now I'm not walking. So she still had love for me even after the accident.
Everything.
So that's what, this might be the second or the third book. I don't know which one I want to do first.
See, I told you have more than two in you.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? So, wow, that's cool. That's awesome. So yeah, so I do want to talk about, you know, love, self-love, and really self-care, and how to really, how that people can love you even in your disability.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people feel that because they're disabled, that there's no more love for them.
Mhm.
And at the time, I was called a cripple mother lover. Let me just use that word. And that stuck with me, that nobody's want me, nobody gonna, you know, want me, nobody want to be in a relationship with me. So basically, I just gave up on self, you know what I'm saying? But then I had to come to myself and say, hey, there's somebody out there for you.
Oh, I understand 100% because my 2011,
Mhm.
2011, I had in and out of the hospital, had brain surgery, wake up disabled. Okay,
Wow.
entire life, right side, no longer worked, was completely paralyzed.
Wow.
Was speaking another language. 11 days after my brain surgery, I'm filing for divorce because my ex was having an affair.
Jesus.
This was my 2011.
Wow.
And then 2012, when I finally went through, I'm so depressed because I'm in a walker. I'm 28 years old in a walker.
Yeah, you were young.
I have my daughter who, her autism was much worse when she was a child than she is now. So I was going through that. I couldn't communicate with my family because I wasn't speaking English, or at least well. So there was a lot of depression. So what did I attract?
Mhm.
Was the one person that I thought would understand my disabilities. And it ended up being an abusive relationship because it wasn't the right kind of relationship. I was negative, even though I was putting on the front of being positive. I wasn't loving me, so the person I attracted couldn't love me.
Yeah.
So when I met Antonio in 2017, and it actually prompted me to get the divorce because it opened my eyes to a lot of things. So I actually thank him for saving my life, because that's where that marriage was going. I 100% believe that. But it opened my eyes to loving myself. So I understand going from disabled to needing to love yourself. And you have to love yourself.
But go ahead.
Do your thing. I understand the wheelchair. I get it. But you have to love yourself, no matter if you're physically, mentally disabled, or just depressed on your circumstances. If you don't love yourself first and have that pride for yourself, you can never get to that next step.
That's it. That's it. You're right. So the book is basically talking about that, and basically talking about my ups and downs of being in the church and then out of the church, and being a deacon, being a preacher, been ordained since 96.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're 10 years before me, got it.
Oh wow, okay. Awesome. So yeah, so it basically, and it there, what I love to do when people interview me, if you don't mind, could I read the back of the book?
Of course you can.
Okay. Broken Bones, but not a broken soul, Jerry Linsom Jr. In this book, you will read how God has truly brought me out, and if he did it for me, he can do it for you as well. Different events forever changed the course of my life, from being in various car accidents, failed relationships, and hitting rock bottom. These events also led me to the greatest blessings, but having faith truly brought out the best in me. So that's how I truly believe someone reading this will really get a understanding of they're not alone, that there is hope, there is you will be free.
Yes.
Because so many times we're in bondage and don't know it, and then we do know it. But by reading it, I truly believe that and learning of being abandoned, learning of being neglected. Mom tells me she wished she had an abortion with me. It's just a lot of things that happen as a child and a teenager, but we bonded before she left here. So, it's just that timing of your life that is always in the back of here, but you try not to bring it up.
Exactly. I mean, there's childhood trauma in just about every person. Even if you're from an affluent family member, you probably have some type of childhood trauma that you perceive as trauma. But at the same time, as we go through life, we have to be able to let go and reconnect, and either say thank you for at least giving me life.
Yeah.
At least that. It doesn't have to be, I understand where you're coming from 20, 30, 40 years ago, but you can at least say, at least thank you for giving me life.
And and we talked, matter of fact, the month before she died, we talked, and then of course, my great aunt was like the savior of the family. Everybody lived with her, everybody went to church, So when my aunt died, it's like my mother she was like, I'm so glad that I gave y'all up, but I hate that I gave y'all up because I didn't know how to be a mother.
Mhm.
And that haunted her until I believe to the last time she took her breath, it haunted her that she gave up her children. But I've always told her, I said, look, you got children that are not on the streets, they're not, and
Whatever the negative is, she
Right.
doesn't have that.
right, exactly.
So she can be at least have the mindset she actually did a good thing by doing that
Right,
because it was the good thing for you
yes,
and that gave her time to grow
yes,
because that's what you both needed.
yes,
So it wasn't a negative. Yes, it haunted her because she wanted to, she had that want, that need to be a mom, but she needed the time to grow to be that mom.
mhm,
And you might have only had that time with her shortly,
mhm,
but at the same time, you got that time back.
mhm. Yes, yes, definitely.
And it came at a
Definitely.
time when you both could accept it.
Yes, wow. Yes, definitely. Definitely.
But we're almost out of time. So
Yes,
where
ma'am.
can listeners and the viewers find you?
Well, they can find me on Facebook, Jerry Linsom Jr. And they can find the book on Amazon as well as Barnes and Nobles. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me, Linsom, LINSOM 69@gmail.com.
Awesome. And thank you so much for being on the show
Thank
today.
you for having me.
And for our reviewers and our listeners, happy reading.